On this episode of Game Shack, Arcade1up has finally announced the second new game of 2023, and it's the Wheel of Fortune Casino-cade? I'll talk about it coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on back into the Game Shack. I'm your host, JDV for Evil Genius Entertainment. Thanks for stopping by. It really does mean a lot to us. Give us a thumbs up if you dig this kind of content. And of course, we still make movies and things like that, so keep your eyes open for that. We should have a new horror short coming out pretty soon. And we're having a brand new show called Cinescares, why I break down how to make your own horror movies and maybe review a couple. Anyway, give us a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. It does help us stay on the air. All right, well, it's been a very big week in the home arcade segment of video game world. This first iArcade is going out of business. You might notice in the background, I'm still downloading games while I can. Maybe 8 hours left, 28 hours left, unsure about that. But some other big news just dropped, and that is Arcade1up is finally officially releasing their Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Casino-cade. I'm not exactly sure if they're calling it Casino-cade. But anyway, this looks like it's going to happen. It's going to be for $4.99. They're calling it a deluxe cab, I guess because it's 62, 63 inches tall. It's a little taller than 5 foot. I guess that's all you need to qualify for a deluxe cab under that marketing. I'm not exactly sure what deluxe means, other than the fact that we have 3 legacy cabs also released this year that are also titled deluxe and are definitely improvements over the Gen 1 and Gen 2 machines. Not a whole lot is different in this new announcement from what we've seen earlier. I think they announced it at CES and there were hints of it being dropped earlier than that. Then kind of dropped off of the radar all the way up until today. It got pretty heavily criticized by a lot of people. I don't know if the first edition that they announced had a touchscreen, but this edition does have it. It's a 10-inch touchscreen and another 8-inch screen above that's not touchscreen. I don't know, I think the cab looks pretty good. Now there's definitely a group of people who would want to have this game. I'm just not sure that it is the 3/4 scale home arcade group of video game lovers. Again, this is something that you would probably much rather play on your phone, I'm guessing, but that 10-inch screen, although small by other video game standards in the same market segment, it of course would be much larger than any cell phone. So I guess you have that, plus you have the secondary screen. This particular cab does have a few other physical buttons that you can touch. There is no arm, of course, because it's not appropriate for this game. So what do you get in addition to the 10-inch touchscreen and the 8-inch screen? Well, not much. I mean, it doesn't look like it has Wi-Fi. I saw nothing in their announcement today that indicates there will be leaderboards or anything of that like, so it is a standalone machine. Doesn't look like it's going to have Wi-Fi capacity. If it does, they're not saying that it does. Comes with 4 games included, but you can unlock other games. It's not official what's going to be released, but you can pretty much bet they're going to be public domain style games. So I guess that is an interesting development for it. So I think there's going to definitely be some people interested in this cab. Now, I actually would probably pick this cab up if it were $299 and not $499. There's just no way I'm going to spend $500 on a cab like this when I could go out and get me a deluxe Pac-Man, you know, Mortal Kombat, which is really slick looking, or Fast and Furious for a couple bucks more. So I'm not sure that this is really going to appeal to the hardcore fan. And I guess that would be my major complaint with this cab, is it seems almost like an afterthought, almost something that, yeah, they had planned 2 years ago. Now it's finally at market. You know, they obtained all the IPs and the rights for all that. So I guess they felt like they had to move forward with it. But this does not move the ball forward for Arcade1up in what has been a fairly underwhelming year so far. We still don't have any official announcements of Time Crisis or Big Buck Hunter or House of the Dead, any kind of shooter game at all. We do have a very nice Fast and Furious cab, at least I think it's nice. It seems to be pretty popular, and I know some people aren't very impressed with it, but it's a cab that I definitely want. Not for what they're asking for, but I do want it. The way I would kind of like to have this cab, because it does change up the kind of games that you have in your arcade, and I do think that it would absolutely appeal to some people, but that $4.99 price tag is going to be somewhat of a stickler. I don't know when the game is going to be actually available, but I would guess it's going to be available pretty soon. They have not said whether or not it's going to be a Best Buy exclusive. So again, that's something that we should keep our eyes open for as another indication of which way Arcade1up is going, because as I indicated in my last episode, I think At Games and Arcade1up are now in very dangerous waters as this market niche. I don't think it's shrinking, but I think it is much, much more selective than it was, say, 3 years ago or even 2 years ago. People now know what to expect. They know what is possible. You have companies like Buy Stuff Arcades and Glenn Retro Show doing magnificent work as third parties. So yeah, I mean, I don't hate this cab. I don't love it. At the price tag that it's being offered for right now, I'm not going to buy it. I doubt very many of you are going to buy it, but time will tell. All right, so that's going to wrap up this episode in very hot Game Shack. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up. Love each other, and until next time, we'll see you guys in the Game Shack. Mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.